Hey everyone, welcome back to Unicorn Dust Designs. I wanted to put a filler video out for Halloween decor. So if that is something you are into, please comment down below so I can make some new ones for the new year. Let's get started. We're going to start off with this random 4x4 piece and a finial that I actually got at the thrift store. I am going to mark off the center of my 4x4. I'm going to take my drill over here and just a little hack, line it up with your screw, put some painter's tape on the drill itself. That way you know how far in to go into your wood. After I'm done drilling a hole, I'm going to go ahead and take some Gorilla Glue just for an added security because I kind of drilled that hole just a little too big. So I screwed that on in. Then I'm going to take my new favorite, black velvet, and we are going to paint that all over the base. And I'm also going to paint over that finial as well. I'm going to grab the Roycycled Halloween Masterboard decoupage paper. I did sell out of this, but I did order more. So hopefully I get it in before you guys are done crafting for Halloween. All I'm doing is getting a wet paintbrush and I'm going around the image that I want. This is going to give me almost kind of like a frayed, torn look versus getting scissors and have very like clean, rigid, is that the right word, lines. So you could see I was just pulling away from the paper, and then I'm going to take my little block piece and I'm going to grab my DIY liquid patina. As usual, I'm going to start on the back, and then with whatever I have left on my paintbrush, I go over the top of the decoupage paper. And I really have to say, you guys, liquid patina has become my favorite decoupage medium for sure. So I'm going to follow that all the way up to the top. And I'm going to even get that top piece and push it on down because I didn't want the top to be blank. I continue on with all four sides. Two of them I did mushrooms, and then the other two alternating sides I did completely different images from that one piece of decoupage paper. Then I got the scraps and I kind of tore those up, and I'm going to put those on this top part, making sure that I kind of connect it to the decoupage paper that's on the front of it. You'll see it come together in the end. So once I'm done with that, I am going to just clear the entire piece with the liquid patina. Once that is completely dry, I'm going to take one of my crows. I'm going to carefully take its legs off, and I am going to figure out where I need to poke my hole. And I just started with the hole, then I got this bigger piece, and I'm just going to stick that right on top of the finial. Luckily for me, that fits so good. I didn't want to glue it so that I could easily take it off and store it for next year. Lastly, I'm going to take, I think it was called floral moss from Dollar Tree. And at first I thought I was going to despise this stuff. It is messy, but the coloring on it is gorgeous. It's like a brown, green, has some yellow in it. Very, very fitting for the Halloween season. So I'm going to put that on random spots on the finial, on the 4x4, going down the sides, and that completes this first DIY. I love this 4x4. Was an absolutely random piece I found outside. The finial is from the thrift store, and then my crow I got I got a ridiculous size pack on Amazon, but I love how it turns out. I'm going to go ahead and kind of turn this for you so you could see all of the little angles of it. I cannot wait to finally get all of this stuff in my bookshelf because this Roycycled decoupage paper has completely like inspired me for the Halloween. Now I'm going to take this frame that everything I thrifted, and I'm going to take Marquee. Now Marquee is going to be your true red from the DIY line. Carnival red is going to have a pink undertone. So keep that in mind when shopping for the paints. I'm going to completely cover all of this frame. I'm going to do 2 coats. And keep in mind, y'all, all my paint products you could get on unicorndustdesigns.com, and that link is in the description box. Once I am finished with that, I'm going to take DIY's clear wax and I'm going to coat the entire frame with it. Look at how beautiful that red is. It is the most perfect Christmas red. Now I'm going to take black wax and I'm going to take my little stencil brush I always use, and I'm going to stipple that black wax onto the entire frame. I'm also going to stipple it on the smooth surfaces as well. I don't want it streaky. That's why I like to stipple the wax on versus brush it on. I'm going to wipe it back with a paper towel, and you can see how it wipes back, and it's going to settle into all of the beautiful details that that frame provides us. And of course, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I did not bust out the gold wax. Yes. Hey, you know I got to put that on the detail, you guys. It's like my favorite. So I just get my finger. I feel like when I use my finger, I have a lot more control over the gold wax versus putting it on a paintbrush. But to each their own for sure. This is just my method of using it. And then I got this image off of Google. You guys, I did not save it. I randomly saved it to my phone, and then I printed it out on brown cardstock. I'm going to put that in. I need to put a piece of cardboard back there though. And this, look at this, you guys. Halloween does not have to be scary or gory. It could be elegant. It could be beautiful. It all depends on how you style it and what you choose to use for your decor. I think this is gorgeous, and so is that. Now we are using a new round in a couple of these round DIYs. So this is actually an 18-inch wood round. The holes are pre-cut for me. I have been ordering these from a local gal. She does have a website and she does ship. So I'm going to leave that link down in the description box for you, and let me know down below if you ended up ordering from her. So I am just trying to find out the middle here, because we're going to do an image on half of it and then writing on the other half. Once I find out what my middle is, I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm going to put that right down the middle. Now, Mandy does things a little differently. What she does is she paints first and then she stains. Now, if any of you watch my wood round videos, you know I always stain my round first and then I paint. But you know what? We are trying it her way today. So I get my stencil vinyl. All of my wood round materials are in my Amazon store link located in my description box. So we got the stencil vinyl on here, and you guys, all of these SVG files are going to be available for purchase on my website down in the description box. I'm taking my foam roller. I'm taking Rich Black by Folk Art, and I'm going to do 2 coats. Once that is dry, I'm going to peel back and look at how beautiful this is. This is always my favorite part of making wood rounds, is seeing like just how crisp the image comes out. Now I'm taking Early American and I'm going over what we just painted. So this is what she does. Sorry about the bang. This is what she does differently. So I put the stain over, I put it out in the sunshine, I let it dry. It dries a lot quicker in the sun. Now I'm going to take that painter's tape off, and then look at how crisp that looks. I like it. So after the stain dries, oh my gosh, sorry you guys. After the stain dries, we're going to apply that painter's tape once again. Then we're going to take our foam roller and we're going to take linen white chalk paint, and we are going to do 2 coats on this right side. Again, like the foam roller, all of this stuff is in my Amazon store link for you. Now, if you are one of my wood round lovers, stay around because I have 2 more coming up for you. This is also something Mandy does, is she takes her stained like cloth and she puts it around the edges, and I love this. I feel like it adds a little bit more depth to it. I don't know. All right, take that off. See that crisp line? Now I'm going to take some more stencil vinyl and I am going to put that on the right side. I chose to do, she has, I think it says like freaking bats on hers. I wanted to make this my own, so I chose to put spooky vibes only. And I'm going to stipple that on with Pumpkin by Waverly. And I do 2 coats of this just to make sure none of the white comes peeking through. And then I will take it off. Well, obviously, I'm gonna take this off, and I love how this turned out. I love that I chose to do the orange instead of black. Then I'm going to clear it. Now, I have started using Varathane spar urethane in water-based because the Helmsman has been so hard to find. So this is now in my Amazon store link for you. I'm going to do 2 coats on the front and I'm going to do 2 coats on the back. Spar urethane is great for outdoor use. It prevents things from you guys, I can't talk right now. You guys know what I'm saying. All right, and then this, since it already had holes for us, I am just putting through some twine. These wood rounds are so light, you guys, that you do not need much to hang them up. Now I'm going to take a simple bow. So I'm just going to take 2 loops. This ribbon I got from Walmart last year during Halloween. So you can see 2 loops, and then we're going to take a tail, and we are going to take the cylinder. I have a real-time bow tutorial. I'll leave that in my description box for you. So press those 2 together, add your tail, put your cylinder on the top, and then grab your zip tie and tie that off. Now I'm going to take my staple gun, and wherever your big loops are, that's where you're going to staple. So you can see I'm just kind of moving over that loop so I could see down in there, and then I put the staple in, and that's it. I love how this turned out. I love this simple ribbon. Let me know what you think. Make sure to visit Mandy's TikTok. Again, all of the links will be down in the description box, and this SVG file will be available for purchase on my website. That is also linked in my description box. Members, you will get one of these SVG wood rounds for free, so make sure to look out for that. Here's the image as well. This next DIY is going to be so easy, you guys. This is one of those black like ceramic ball things from Dollar Tree. I've had it forever. I'm going to spritz some gold metallic spray paint on it. I'm not trying to get full coverage. We're just going to spritz that on there, let it completely dry. Then I come back in with the, I think it's called the looking glass. Is this looking glass? Nope, a mirror effect. And I thought it was going to give me a mirror effect. I've used it quite a few times on windows and it works great. However, it did not give me that same effect on this surface. So, but it did give me some kind of reflection. So that was okay. So this is how it looks after. So you can see it's shiny. It kind of reflects, you know, it's not bad. I'm going to like scrunch up a paper towel. I put 90 proof alcohol on it, and I'm just going to start dabbing it onto my ball. And this is going to take some of the layers of paint off. So you'll see a little bit of the gold, you'll see a little bit of that original black, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Do you guys know what we're going for here on this DIY? Come on. You guys have to guess. Comment down below if you know what it is. Okay. So I'm going to continue that as much as I want that distressed look to be. And then after that, here's just like a kind of a close-up how you can see it starting to take away those layers. I'm going to grab this base. It is to a vintage or antique coffee pot. I actually have the glass coffee pot as well, but we're going to use it for this. So I'm going to put in these wood pieces. And this is going to help elevate that ball for us. You could also use a smaller base, which I did not have, so I'm making it work for me. I'm going to put my bowl on top, and then I'm going to grab some Spanish moss, and I'm going to push that into the sides. I'm also going to take some little pieces of greenery, and I'm going to put those in there as well. This helped fill that negative space, and it just gave it a little bit more detail, I guess you can say. And after I do that all the way around, I have myself a beautiful magic ball. Is that what it's called? Magic ball? No, it's not a magic ball. You guys, brain fart. What is it called? Yeah, magic ball. No, it's not called a magic ball. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I know you are. A glass ball. Magic ball. Okay, nope. So if you guys have not seen this trend all over TikTok, it is the painting ghosts on a portrait or illustration. So my friend Rhonda at The Distressed Princess suggested I start with a Dollar Tree canvas. So that is what we're doing. I'm taking white acrylic paint and I'm literally painting a blob. There is no, you don't need any kind of art class for this ghost painting, okay? So I started with some white and then I mixed some black and gray together, black and white together to get some gray. I'm going to create some shadowing and then I just keep layering it. So like I go in with the gray, layer it with the white, and then I'm going to put some little black eyes on there. I will say I got better the more ghosts I started doing, because this one definitely doesn't look as detailed as the other ones you'll see. And then right over here on these little ridges of the grassy area, I'm going to take some black acrylic paint. Sorry, I keep moving the canvas, so it was hard to put it in one place. I'm going to do some little tombstones. And I was getting so mad at myself because because of the brush I was using, they kept going pointed on the top and I didn't want that. And I'm going to do another one on the little ridge right on the top. And then I create just some shadows by putting a line underneath them and to the side of them. Now we're going to move on to the left side of our canvas. We definitely need a ghost in that top window. So again, half a blob. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to like see what I'm doing with my hand over it. I'll have to work on that. But a blob, here you go. Now you can see it. And I am going to continue just like I did last time with the layering. So here's another one. I'm going to put that to the side of the barn, fill it in, and now I'm going to take that gray once again, and you only want to put the gray, you want to focus it on the left side. Y'all, I tell you all the time, I am no Bob Ross. I see these things, I want to try them. I'm not scared to try new things. I'm messing up in front of you guys. So just take my lessons with a grain of salt. So again, just shadowing that, you can see how I'm keeping it to the left side of those ghosts. And then I grabbed a marker this time instead of the paintbrush to do the eyes. If you have a fine tip Sharpie, that's going to be even better because it's going to be a lot smoother. So I'm going to put the eyes on with this marker this time. And we need to add some bats as well. So I'm going to take that same marker, and you guys, it is like drawing eagles, but instead you're going to add downward little points on to their wings, okay? I promise you, it's not hard at all. Just don't overthink and let it happen. Now we got to turn the canvas into fall. So I took some orange paint and I am literally just painting like 2 circles next to each other to form a pumpkin. And I play around with like just mixing different oranges together to darken it up. I even put like a bigger one on the side of one of those pumpkins. And of course we have to add a stem after. So after I, here, right, just want to have you watch me do the pumpkins one more time. We're going to put a stem on these. Now I used acrylic paints just because everybody else was using acrylic paints, but you don't have to. Now I'm going to turn those green trees in the background into fall leaves, trees. So I am just taking some different oranges, and you guys, follow the canvas or whatever you're painting on. Like I am just putting the orange where the lighter green is. Then the darker green. Then I come in with some yellow paint and I put that where the light green was on this. So I'm kind of just following what's already there, just with a different color. And this is how our ghost portrait turned out. Let me comment with a little ghost if you want to try one of these. This would make such a fun family like ghost painting party or girlfriend, or if you have, a crafting group. This is going to be so much. All right, so this is my wood round that I usually use that I get from Home Depot. These are the really 1-inch These are the really 1 inch. These are the 1 inch thick ones. So I've sanded this with 80 grit, then 220 grit, and now I'm sanding it. I think this is golden pecan. I was wanting like an orangey kind of stain for this one because I really want the black to pop for this. So after that dries, I'm going to take another stencil vinyl cutout. Now you guys, when you buy my SVG files for the wood rounds, they are cut exactly like this. So you see how this is curved to the bottom of the wood round? This is exactly how it will come for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. I'm using Transfer Ease transfer tape, again, in my Amazon store. And then we're going to peel that off. I'm going to get my, what do you call that there? I don't know why I did not edit all of this out. My apologies. And I wondered why this video was so long. So I'm going to go ahead and press all that stencil vinyl down. I'm going to add the hay there after I'm done painting. So again, taking the foam roller, Rich Black by Folk Art, I'm going to do 2 coats of this, and then we are going to wait for that to dry, and we are going to peel that off. And look at how exciting this is. Oh my gosh. You guys know me and Cheetah lately. I am definitely keeping this one for myself. So now that the pumpkin is laid out, now I feel comfortable applying the hay there because it allowed me to see really where I needed to go up and all that jazz. So again, we're going to tape some of the edges off, and then I'm going to do a double coat of the Rich Black by Folk Art with my sponge roller. I prefer sponge rollers because I feel like they give you less bleeding under the vinyl. Now I'm going to attach my D hooks. I like to apply these to the bigger, thicker wood rounds. I usually go about 3 inches in on each side. Then I'm going to take my wired jute cord that I get from Dollar Tree. You can also use nautical rope. You can use, thicker ribbon for this. You do you, whatever you like, you do. All right, now I'm going to do kind of a different bow. So we're taking this ribbon, we're putting it in a figure 8, then you're pressing it together in the middle. I'm going to take a 2 loop burlap ribbon, put that behind it. Then I'm going to take that weird netted burlap ribbon stuff. I'm going to cut 2 pieces off of it, and that is basically what's going to be like our the tails. So I'm going to crisscross it, layer that bow on top. Then I'm going to take my zip tie it off, cut another piece of this cute ribbon. I think I got this striped ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to hot glue that to the middle. Then I'm going to put it on top, and then we are going to staple it down onto our wood round. And you guys, like I said, I'm totally keeping this one. Like, this is so my vibe for this fall season. I even stood all 3 of the rounds up and asked John which one we should keep, and he went well with this one. Maybe it's because he knows I've been liking Cheetah. I don't know, but look at how gorgeous this is. I love how the hay there and the pumpkin like really stand out on here, and there's nothing else going on in the background. So I love this. Let me know which one out of the 3 of these wood rounds is your favorite. This one, I'm going to paint these tins. Don't yell at me. I had them for sale and nobody bought them. So time to upcycle. I'm going to paint these in flat black by Rust-Oleum. Totally thought this was going to go in a different direction, but I changed my mind because I saw this decoupage paper. So this is Vintage Ads. I do have this one in stock, and I'm just trying to figure out what part of the image I'm going to want on the tin. Once I find which side I want to use, I get smart, and instead of wrapping the paper around, I use a measuring tape, and I go around my tin, measure it off, and I'm going to mark that on my decoupage paper. Then I figure out the height, mark that on the decoupage paper. I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, and then I cut it out. I'm going to start at the seam of this tin can, which is kind of like on the side. I'm going to grab my decoupage medium once again, the crystal clear liquid patina, and we're going to start right here And again, like I said before, always starting at the base, whatever remaining product I have on my brush, that is what I smooth my surface with. And y'all, seriously, I am not a pro at decoupage paper and I won't pretend to be, but I will say this liquid patina makes it so much easier. I've used Mod Podge and Mod Podge is great for so many things, but I always had issues trying to decoupage with um, Mod Podge because it's so thick. Liquid patina has like a very thin consistency, which I feel like helps with less wrinkles and less bubbles. Now the top still showed a little bit of the blue and I couldn't stand it. So I grabbed some little black dress and I'm just going to paint that so you can't see the blue anymore. You guys know I couldn't leave it like that. And somebody open it up and be like, why is it blue there? So I go all the way around with that. And then I do clear the entire thing with more liquid patina. Now I'm going to take one of these little faces that I got off of Cricut and I'm going to put that on the front of my can. Now, it didn't want to stick very well. So what I'm going to do is grab my heat gun and I'm going to put that over my vinyl. This is going to reactivate that adhesive and it's going to ensure that it sticks properly to my surface. Now, once again, like we did in the beginning, I'm going to find my center point here on the top of my tin can. I'm going to take this little vintage knob, put some Gorilla Glue, and then I'm going to fill it with some hot glue right in the middle. That way I could get an immediate hold on this and I can continue to work. I'm going to set that aside and grab my raffia here. This brown raffia I think I got at Hobby Lobby. I just created a little bow and then I hot glued it to the little knob itself. Once I finished with that, I grabbed some cardstock and some leftover decoupage paper. I glued that to the top. Then taking my IOD stamps, I'm going to spell out boo. I'm going to lay the stamps out onto my tag first, get my little carrier sheet, which is a kitchen cutting board mat from Dollar Tree, and then put some black ink on there, and it's going to spell out boo for us. I'm going to take like a little pick thingy and poke a hole right in that corner, get some raffia, and then we're going to wrap that around our knob and tie it in a knot. This one will most likely be on my website because it does not fit my decor, but I just had to make it. But look at how cute that looks. Would it be like primitive? I'm not sure, but look at that decoupage paper. I love it. And it's different than just like the orange pumpkins, or orange jack-o'-lanterns. So I really love how this turned out and you can really do it with any kind. I'm taking this scrap piece of flooring from our old house. I had leftover milk paint, which I painted the flooring with, and then it sat on the side of my table forever. So we are going to make a little Halloween sign with it. So you guys, I literally talked crap about this dang thin mount from IOD saying, oh, you can use the kitchen mats, all that stuff. But now that I've used it, it's a game changer. Having the grid on here just takes it to a whole nother level because you will see how straight the lettering came out on this sign. So for most of us, we do not have two sets of letter stamps. So we have to play around with the placement a little bit. So as you can see on the top, we have the old and the E needed to be used twice. So we need to lay out our stamps beforehand. So you will see here, I have to use a couple letters twice. So I'm going to lay it out. You'll see right here, there's supposed to be two O's. So I do an O and then I use the C so I can see what the size is and if I will have room for everything that I want to use. Once I know that it's gonna fit, then I'm going to start over to my left side and I'm going to use that thin mount, which actually is pretty long. So it's nice because it picks up a solid amount. And then I'm going to readjust my letters so that they're nice and straight on the grid. I'm going to stamp them with my black ink. This is permanent ink. And then I'm going to lay it back down and I'm going to press on each and every letter with my finger. This piece of flooring had a lot of texture in it, so I wanted to make sure that that ink got into all of the nooks and crannies of that wood. And then I lift it up and y'all look at how perfect that looks. Now I'm going to wipe the stamps off and I'm going to lay whichever ones I need back down onto our sign, and then we are going to repeat the process. Now, once I have all the lettering, you know I can't stop there. So I'm actually going in with the Reverie stamp set. And this actually comes with 2 sheets in it. And it has some beautiful detail pieces, which we're going to use on our sign. And another unexpected stamp is the Portobello one, which came out this Christmas, but y'all, it is not just for Christmas. There are tons of pieces in here that can be used with everyday crafting, like this little label. So I'm going to take the thin mount, pick it all up, stamp it, of course, put my ink on, dab, 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 press it on down using my fingers once again to really get that ink on there. And then I'm going to pick it up. And because y'all know that I am extra, I could not just leave the bottom. I needed to add something to the top. So going into the stamp set of Reverie, I took these 2 stamps and we're going to add them on the sides of the old. After I'm done with this, you guys, I'm going to let that ink set up for a while, probably like a couple hours. You just don't want to take the chance of smearing it. And then I'm going to take Big Top and I am going to clear the entire piece. Now, this was too thin to put screws through. The flooring was too hard to put nails through, and it was too heavy to put hot glue on. So this is definitely something somebody's going to have to use command strips for or use as like a shelf leaner. But nonetheless, this came out so pretty. The color was absolute perfection for this sign, and the little added elements of the details of these stamps just set this sign off. Like, it took it up a whole nother level. Look at all the detail just in that little label piece. It is insane. But this is such an easy way, you guys, of making signs. You guys know I have a candle holder obsession, so we need to get through some of them. I recently thrifted these and the color on them was hideous. They're like red/orange/brown. So once again, we're going to take that black velvet, completely paint those with one coat. And then I am going to wet distress these. Now, I said the color was ugly, but I just wanted a little bit of that kind of orangey-ish, that's a word, to peek through. Now I'm going to take some water and I'm going to take tarnished pearl, which has like a gray undertone to it. And I'm going to do kind of my drip droppy method, except I don't want drip drops. I'm just going to put this over the paint, and then with a paper towel, I'm going to dab the excess off. This is because the candle holder has so much texture on it. This liquidy paint is going to drop down into all that texture. So it's almost going to look or kind of give you the feel of white wax, except to me, it makes it look a little bit more weathered and authentic when doing so this way. So I continue to do that on both candle holders, and then you can see DIY paints dry down darker when they're dry. Well, duh, I just said when they're dry. I'm a mess, you guys. It's like 9 o'clock and I'm ready for bed. We cleared those with some clear DIY wax, and this is how they turned out. So see how like the white, the tarnished pearl, it makes it look more like weathered instead of waxed and nice, if that makes sense. And you can see some of the orange peeking through. So This wood round is another one that I got from the local gal Carrie, and this is big. This is 19 inches. So I knew the image that I wanted to put on here. It was absolutely perfect. So I am not going to stain this one. This one I'm going to put a coat of linen white chalk paint. You could use acrylic paint, whatever you want. And I'm going to just do one coat because this is going to be our base color. Next, I'm going to get my stencil vinyl and my image. Again, you can see it's cut perfectly to the round. I'm going to put that towards the bottom. I'm going to smooth this out, and then I'm just going to pull that away, and it's going to leave our vinyl stencil on our wood round because we're going to paint over this and then weed. Now I'm going to take my Enter If You Dare. I'm going to put that on top. I'm going to take our transfer paper off, and then we're going to grab our sponge roller and Rich Black by Folk Art, and we're going to go ahead and do 2 coats. This usually has like really great coverage, but there was just some white pieces kind of like poking through, so I felt better just going with 2, you know? So we're going to do 2 coats. I'm going to hit this with my heat gun on the cool setting to speed up our drying process. And then I'm going to weed all of that stencil vinyl off. And you guys, this looks so good with how big this round is. And it just shocks me how light these are too compared to, you know, like the thicker ones. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and weed this entire image out. Here I go with my amazing editing skills and like allowing you guys to see the weeding process because I know you guys love this. So you guys could do this also the other way, where if you wanted to stain this, you could stain it, then put your image, paint over it. There's so many different ways that you could do this wood round. Now that I'm done with the paint, I also cleared this exactly like I did the other ones. I'm going to take some twine, I'm going to double it up, tie knots on the end, and then I'm going to use my staple gun to staple that on there. Well, obviously that didn't work. And now we're going to create something a little different with this one. So I'm going to take, these are like black eucalyptus glitter picks. I got them from Walmart last Halloween, and I'm going to play around with their placement. Then I'm going to grab these red and black glitter roses that I got from Dollar Tree. I highly suggest spraying these with hairspray so the glitter doesn't fall all over the place like it is now. And I am going to take my staple gun again, and I'm going to staple these down. Now, as you can see, there's a super wide space in between the 2 florals. So we're going to do our, I guess, quote unquote, bow a little differently. So I made a bunch of loops with my ribbon. So I just hot glued the ends together, and then I'm cinching, pinching the little loops together towards the bottom, putting it on the wood round, and then stapling them. This, I mean, it depends on what direction you go in, but like you can make it look like a regular bow, or you could just make it look really full. You could get like that, what do you call it? The wreath stuff, like the mesh looking stuff that's like glittery. You could put that in here, but you can see like I just keep on kind of like adding more until it's full. It looks like what I want it to. You guys have to let me know what you think about this kind of method once you see it. So here's the Enter If You Dare, and then you can see up top the glittery roses and eucalyptus, and then this crazy, I don't know what we're going to call this, you guys, a bow? I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this wood DIY. You guys know I absolutely love doing wood DIYs, and if you couldn't hear it, I picked up this book at the thrift store for $5.99, and usually I would not pay that much, but I've had this vision in my mind since I started Halloween DIYs, so I didn't mind paying it. I'm going to use the little dipper brush, which I do not use enough. It is so good. And I am going to coat the front side and the back of this book with old school. It's a beautiful charcoal color. And I'm going to do 2 coats on the spine of the book and the back of the book. I'm going to let that completely dry, and I'm going to then grab this beautiful gal. This is the Halloween master board or master blocks. I do have them in stock, and this woman right here is right when I got this paper and I saw her, I knew I wanted this book and this layout, and I love the way it turned out. So I didn't really know where this was going at first. So I took a wet paintbrush and went around the edges because I just knew if the paper did show on the sides that I didn't want clean lines. I wanted it to look ripped and kind of like battered, but it doesn't end up showing, so you do what you want. Now I'm going to paint the back. Now this is an option where I don't really know if it made a difference. The paper itself was dark, but I was scared that if I put the dark paper over dark paint, it was going to make like her light features of her face even darker, which I didn't want. So I took the added step and I painted the back. So to each their own. I'm not sure, but I thought I'd show you what I did. Now I'm going to take my liquid patina decoupage medium and the smoothie DIY brush. I am going to layer that on the back of the book, and then whatever I have left on my brush, I'm going to put over the decoupage paper. If you are someone that decoupages often, the smoothie brush is something you definitely want to add to your collection. It makes decoupaging so easy, especially over larger surfaces. I did get some wrinkles in this, which I wasn't mad about because I think that the wrinkles looked really cool with the tree branches and stuff that were going on in the background. So I wasn't too stressed about that. I usually am not if I get wrinkles. And I didn't want to spritz it with water because I did not want to reactivate that paint on the back and potentially have it smear. Now that it's all dried, I'm going to take paper clay. And the reason I like to use the paper clay when doing something like this is because I think it's a lot more moldable. It's softer and easy to work with versus using like the IOD clay or the DOS clay. So that is why I'm using it on this book. So my vision was to make it look like the pages have been torn away and the book had been aged, and I wanted it to frame out this picture. So what I'm doing is I'm just dragging that clay along the book, flattening it out with the rolling pin, and then you can see how the inside of it looks like it's kind of ripped away. And then I'm going to take the kindest regard stamp and I'm going to push that into the clay. And y'all, look at how gorgeous that is. A stamp is not just a stamp. You could use it for so many things. And I'm going to repeat the process all the way around the book. So again, pushing it down, and then to get that little like the torn page effect, I grabbed this little tool and I picked up underneath the clay and then pulled it towards me so it looked frayed and ripped. Then I take that kindest regard stamp once again, and I'm just going to push that down. And if there were any blank spots, then I just get a piece of that stamp and just push it on down. I'm going to repeat this step all the way around our book. The next step we're going to take is taking that old school paint that we did the whole book in. We are going to paint the clay while it is wet. This is going to help you it's going to help the clay not crack. That's what I'm trying to say. So the clay is wet. We're painting over it. It's going to help so that we don't get a bunch of cracked pieces in our clay. I like how I had to repeat that twice. Sorry, you guys. So I am just stippling that on. You do want to be softer so you don't damage any of the beautiful detail. And then some of it gets on my paper because I'm trying to get on that inside edge. And that's okay because it just created a little shadowing effect. Now I'm taking the antiquities stamp. And I saw Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. She is so good at taking different elements of pieces and bringing them together. So this is where I got the idea from. And I'm taking one of the stamps and it says Gabrielle on it and then some other cursive on the bottom. I'm taking this gold, I think it's folk art acrylic paint, and I am brushing that on to my stamp. Then I'm going to take that book and I am going to just put it on its side and press that down. The stamps move very easily on curved surfaces, and look at how cool. And the Gabrielle just fits so perfect with our woman on the front cover. Now, an unexpected stamp we're going to use is the new Portobello stamp. This has tons of elements, you guys, that can be used for everyday crafting, not just Christmas. This one is actually a urn and it has like a little tree coming out of it, but I thought it was a good little added extra detail for the spine of the book. So I'm going to put that on there. And look at how cute that is. It just adds just that little, it takes it up a notch, you know? And one of the last steps is to take letterpress, which is a soft gray, and I am dry brushing it. So there's hardly any of that paint on my chippy brush. And this is going to help take all of those cursive letters, geez, I'm a mess, you guys. It's going to help bring the kindest regards stamp to life. You could already see how it's making it pop out at you. And I dry brush the rest of it and clear it with wax. And you guys, this turned out better than I could have imagined. It's not very often that something I think of actually like full on comes to life, but this was better than I could have ever expected. It has so much detail, and as one of my girlfriends, Erin, said, she said it's eerily beautiful, which I could not agree more. You guys know my love for books. This is gorgeous, and it's a useful item. Somebody can open this up and use it to store items in. So I absolutely love her. Let me know what you look them up. All right, so the paper that started this entire video, the Halloween blocks. So I'm gonna take this old, gosh, what is this, box? You guys, it was signed Sammy Clary on the back, which means I've had this since before I got married in 2018. This is how ridiculous sometimes our craft stash is, that I've had this box that long. But hey, I'm putting it to use now. So I wanted to make this whitewash wood darker. So I'm just taking a dark and decrepit liquid patina and I'm going to use it as a stain. So I brush it on and then I get my paper towel and then I wipe the excess away. And then for the inside of our box, I'm going to take crinoline and I'm going to paint the bottom with crinoline, and then the inside rim of the box, we're gonna take Little Black Dress, and I'm going to paint all of that in black because that's actually going to be showing when we finish our box. I'm next going to take the right side of this decoupage paper, and the easiest way was to put the box on top, get a wet paintbrush, and then I went around it. But then I was like, man, I don't want to mess up the lady that I want to use. So I ended up having to get the scissors and cut that nice and straight. But now I'm going to take that decoupage paper and I'm going to put it in the box. And then again, taking a wet paintbrush, I'm just going to line it so I know how much to take off of my paper. And I don't mind the like ripped look at all. It doesn't even show. Now, again, we're taking liquid patina and we're going to take our brush it on. I did spritz the paper this time with water, and then we're going to take that excess on our brush and smooth it down. I love that you get a little bit of everything in this image. You get the moon, you get the crows, you get the handwriting. It's beautiful. Now I'm just going to take that liquid patina and we're going to coat everything. We're going to go over the decoupage paper. We're going to also clear that black paint that we painted on the inside. And then I'm going to take one of these molds. And you guys, I would love to show you all of this, but it took forever. Okay. And I was reminded why I don't personally do detail work like this. For those of you that do, I commend you because it was a lot of work to do these fine details. And I didn't even go all out. I tried to make it as simple as I could, but it still took forever. So I get some colors. I took Firestarter, Liquid Sunshine, Farm Fresh, and then I also got Pennies from Heaven, and I did like the stained glass windows. And after that, I coated it with some black wax, wiped the excess away because I wanted it to look, dark and eerie. And I'm gonna attach that with some Tite Bond and some hot glue. I'm gonna have it lifted a little bit up because we're gonna put some moss below it. And after this dries up and we can prop it up, I am going to take one of these little Dollar Tree skeletons. It's the ones that come on the garland, and the die cut butterflies from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna glue that to the back of it. And in all honesty, you guys, I don't usually do DIYs that have smalls or minis in it. So this was very, very new to me, but I thought I would try it. Why not? So I glued that on there, and then I'm gonna take the moss and I hot glued it to the bottom, and then I had it kind of going up the back of the box as well. I'm gonna grab this skeleton and I'm gonna put hot glue on the bottom of its feet, and then the left side of that butterfly wing, since it's where it's going to touch. And then I'll show you right here. There we go. See, he's not going anywhere. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know what to add here. I didn't have any little mini pieces, so I ended up like putting parts of the skeleton in there just to fill space. But I honestly feel like this could be super cute if I had more pieces, like a little gravestone or pumpkin. So I hope you guys can take the inspiration and do more than I was able to do with it, because I think it's cute, but I definitely think it could have been better. What would you guys have done to take this project up a notch? I would love to hear it. And if you guys are into minis or smalls, let me know. For this adorable DIY, we are gonna take a Dollar Tree little wood round, and I'm gonna take the color Crockery. This is the JRV Cottage color, and I am going to basically kind of like prime my wood piece with this. Now, I've seen several takes on this in the IOD community, and I just wanted to do a very simple rendition of it. So we are going to take the Christmas kitties, and y'all, the Christmas kitties aren't just for Christmas. If you have a little bit of imagination, you can turn these into party kitties, Halloween kitties, birthday. I said birthday already, but there are more possibilities than just Christmas with the kitties and the puppy stamps. So keep that in mind when checking them out. We are going to take the kitty with the Santa hat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my pumpkin down first. I need to see placement. I'm going to stamp my kitty, and then I'm going to hover it over my pumpkin, so I make sure that I get the right placement. Then I'll pull my pumpkin out, and then I will press my kitty into that wood round. This is also why I primed the wood round, so my ink does not absorb into that wood. Now I'm going to grab the mask that comes with all of your stamps. I'm going to put it over our cat, and then I'm going to take my pumpkin. We do not need to put any ink on that stem. We're just going to put it on the body of the pumpkin, and we are going to now lay that over our kitty, and we're going to push that down very well. Want to get all those details. And when we lift that back up, our whole kitty is going to be still intact and sitting on top of our pumpkin. Now this kitty, wait, nope, that's not the part coming next. The part coming next is paint. We are going to take Summer Crush, and we are going to give our pumpkin 2 coats of paint. Now, I thought about painting the kitty, but I felt like leaving the cat with just the ink gave it more of a vintage vibe on the sign, which hopefully comes across once it's all done. You guys let me know if you think it looks vintagey. Now I'm going to cover up the kitty once again, and we're going to put our stamp back over it with ink. This is going to bring back all of the details of that pumpkin. And look at how cute this is. Now, this kitty would be perfect in the Nightmare Before Christmas movie, but we're not in that movie. So we need to turn this Christmas hat into a witch's hat. So using the hat that's there for us already, I'm going to paint it black, and then I'm going to create a brim. Again, you're just using the form of the hat itself, so everything's laid out for you. Just don't cover those ears up, and you got yourself a witch's hat. Now I'll take the golden ticket, which is exactly like pennies from heaven, except it is gold. And I'm going to put a little ribbon there for some more definition. And then I felt like it needed a little something extra, so I put some polka dots on that witch's hat. Now I can't stop there. I'm going to add a border around it. So taking these stamps, I decided I'm going to take some of the floral ones, and we are going to wrap this around the wood round. I tried doing leaves and other things like behind the cat, but it just seemed like too much close to the pumpkin and the kitty cat. So I thought this was a great way of adding a little bit more detail without going completely overboard. So sorry, my head's in the way there. So I'm going to take this all the way around the circle, and then we're just going to clear that with Big Top, you guys, and we're done. So what a great way of taking a seasonal stamp and turning it into something else, which is amazing. Look at how much detail is in that cat, you guys. Even like the little fur. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. So this was my take on this. Some people have gone all out and they are gorgeous. So definitely. Our last one's going to be an easy one, you guys. We don't have to paint everything. Sometimes you just need to clean them up. So I'm taking this dollar urn that I got at a garage sale, and I cleaned it up and it still looked that dingy. So I'm taking black wax and I'm going to coat the entire urn with this wax. I'm then going to just take a paper towel, and I'm going to wipe. See how like what a difference the black wax versus how it looks. And then I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe all of the excess off. So I'm kind of like rubbing that wax in. It's going to brighten up this urn. And then I'm going to try to find a round surface to put on top of this, because the magic happens when you add all of the goodies. And here you go. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I really hope that these Halloween decor pieces inspired you. I know it's not for everybody, so I appreciate you all watching either way. And I will be back here on Tuesday with maybe some fall DIYs. Have an amazing weekend, you guys.